the day my neighbor tried to fix my life and everything went wrong. My neighbor, who I called the helpful, Hurricane, has always been the type of person who thinks she's improving everyone's lives when in reality, she's just creating chaos. She's one of those people who believes she has a talent for solving problems that nobody asked her to solve. I never hated her, but I always kept my distance, because she has a talent for turning small issues into full-blown disasters. Everything started on a Saturday morning when I was planning to clean my apartment, drink some tea, and enjoy a calm day. But apparently, the universe decided I needed a story for Reddit instead. It began when I stepped outside to take my trash out and found my neighbor standing in the hallway holding a notebook, a measuring tape, and a determined expression that scared me more than any horror movie ever could. She told me she was doing a life audit of everyone on our floor because she felt we were all too stressed and disorganized. I had no idea why she believed she was the chosen one to fix our lives, but I didn't want to argue at 9 a.m., so I just nodded and hoped she'd go away. That was my first mistake. By the afternoon, she had decided my life needed a makeover, and she took it upon herself to start with my laundry. I never asked, I never even hinted, but she somehow let herself into the shared laundry room and took all my clothes out of the dryer because she felt they were not folded properly and needed refreshing. When I walked into the laundry room, I found all my clothes spread out across 3 tables, sorted into piles with sticky notes labeling each one. She had written things like clothes showing low self-esteem, clothes with chaotic energy, and clothes that need replacing immediately. I stood there trying to process whether I should laugh, scream, or just walk out and pretend I didn't see any of it. Before I could decide, she came running in and proudly announced that she had thrown away 6 of my sweaters because they were lowering my vibration. I don't believe in vibrations. I do, however, believe in keeping the sweaters I paid for. When I told her she had no right to touch my clothes, she simply smiled at me like a teacher who was proud of a student who didn't understand anything yet and told me, "You'll thank me later." Spoiler, I did not thank her later. But the day wasn't over yet. Apparently, she had decided that helping one person wasn't enough. So she made it her mission to fix our entire building. She started by collecting everyone's packages from the lobby, thinking she was doing us a favor by delivering them to each door. Except she mixed up almost every package. People received random items, and no one knew where their actual purchases went. My upstairs neighbor ordered makeup and instead got a box of cat litter. The guy on the first floor received a package of birthday decorations, which definitely wasn't his. And someone, somewhere, received my new headphones, which I never saw again. The whole building started buzzing with confusion. People were knocking on each other's doors asking, "Is this yours? Do you have my package?" It became a chaotic trading market full of confused residents. When everyone realized it was my neighbor who caused the disaster, they came to my door assuming I knew how to deal with her, since she had been bothering me the most. I didn't know how to deal with her. Nobody knew how to deal with her, but they decided to follow me because I was the only one who had spoken to her that day. So now I had a group of angry, confused residents standing behind me as we knocked on her door like a mini army. She opened it with a bright smile, totally unaware of the chaos she'd caused, holding a tray of cookies that she made to celebrate everyone's journey toward improvement. One of my neighbors politely, well, almost politely, asked her what she had done with our packages. She explained she had tried to distribute them according to intuition and energy alignment. That didn't make anyone feel better. She promised she would fix everything immediately. Guess what she did? She went door to door collecting random items again, except she didn't remember where they came from. So she guessed again. Now the confusion was twice as bad. It turned into a circus of chaos. People were arguing, trying to remember what they ordered, trying to find who had what. She kept telling everyone, chaos is just the universe rearranging itself, which did not help anyone's mood. At one point, an elderly man from the 3rd floor handed me a box and said, "I don't know who this belongs to, but I'm done." Inside the box were 5 scented candles, a pair of socks, and a banana. I still don't know who ordered the banana. While everyone tried to sort things out, my neighbor disappeared into her apartment and returned with her notebook, full of life improvement plans. She tried convincing us we should create a building schedule so she could help us all more efficiently. That idea was immediately shut down, but she didn't take the hint. Instead, she switched her focus back to me. She decided my life needed more structure, so she printed out a weekly schedule for me without asking. It included things like mandatory confidence walks, meditation hours, and clothing evaluation sessions. She even tried to enforce a bedtime on me. A bedtime for a grown adult. Later that evening, when I thought things couldn't get any crazier, I heard loud banging outside my apartment. When I opened the door, I saw her trying to install a whiteboard on the hallway wall. She explained it was for community goals and insisted I should write something on it immediately. I wrote, "Leave me alone," because I ran out of patience. The next morning, things reached a new level. She somehow convinced the landlord to let her beautify the building. I don't know how she did it, but when I left for work, the entire hallway was covered in motivational posters, not normal ones. These had quotes like, "Your laundry reflects your soul. Packages come and go, but peace is forever." Stop resisting your improvement. I hated every single one. When I got home later that day, I found a note from her slipped under my door. It said, "I see your resistance. Even if you fight growth, I will support you." That's when I realized I needed to take action before she turned my whole life into a chaotic self-help workshop. The next day, I gathered everyone in the building for a meeting. We all agreed she needed boundaries. Strong ones. We weren't rude, but we were firm. We told her she wasn't allowed to touch anyone's belongings ever again. No laundry, no packages, no schedules, no whiteboards, no surprise improvements, nothing. To my surprise, she didn't get angry. She actually teared up and said she thought she was helping because she felt the building had stagnant energy and she wanted everyone to feel elevated. We explained that we understood her intentions, but her methods were too much. Way too much. It took a while, but I think she finally understood. She apologized to everyone. The package chaos slowly settled. People started receiving the right items again. Well, except my headphones. Those are still missing. After that, she became much more respectful. She stopped controlling everyone's lives, and she no longer tried to fix me. The motivational posters slowly disappeared from the hallways, and I finally felt some peace. But the best part? 2 weeks later, I found one of my sweaters, the ones she threw away, sitting on top of the trash cans. She had written "unfixable energy" on the label. I took it home out of pure spite and now wear it every chance I get.